Hello and welcome back to my channel, The Casa Magana. I am Joanna. I am a stay-at-home mom of 3, and today we're going to talk about weaning older kids from nursing. I shared recently on my Instagram that we weaned my 2-year-old Mel, and I got flooded with questions of people asking how I did that. And I just wanted to share the things I did right and the things I did very wrong in just a little chat. This is not medical advice. I am not a lactation consultant. I have no advice to give. I'm just sharing my story and my musings on weaning an older child off of nursing. So she has always fed on demand. That means in the night she has nursed. She has nursed during the day whenever she asks for it. And we got to the point where my body was super tired and I just felt like I was done and I didn't want to nurse anymore after nursing for 2 years. And my husband agreed that it was time. Our 2-year-old did not agree that it was time. So from start to finish, it was probably about a 3-month process. And I know that can feel discouraging, but I will say I did not get any clogged ducts. I did not get mastitis. And weaning very gradually, I think, was more helpful than trying to just go cold turkey all at once. And so one of the first things that we did when I realized that we wanted to stop weaning was we did not let her ask for milk and get it. It had to be offered to her. So if she would come up to me and say, "Mom, I want milk," or just try to shove my shirt up and nurse herself, I would not give it to her. Even if it was a time where I was thinking that I would nurse her, I would distract her with something else. And then I would offer and say, "Would you like milk?" And so we started to just build a new routine that instead of her just getting it whenever she wants, I had to be the one offering it. And that became very helpful. And that really brought the feedings during the day down drastically. I specifically went to the store and bought a lot of kind of fun snacks like little puffs and freeze-dried fruits and things I probably normally wouldn't buy just because we're on a pretty strict grocery budget. But I bought some more fun snacky things to try and give her little options instead of milk when she was just kind of bored and wanted to nurse or wanted something kind of quick. Because at that age, they don't necessarily need it for nutrients. They're doing it more out of repetition and for connection. And so I decided to just kind of offer her some little fun snacks instead of milk. And then that really switched it to where it was only in the morning, at night, and then during the night. So about 1 month into the 3 months of weaning her, I decided I didn't want to nurse her in the middle of the night anymore. And that always is horrible. I don't think anyone could say anything other than that. My husband and I already weren't sleeping, so we just agreed that we would just put on our brave faces and cut her off cold turkey in the middle of the night. So what that looked like for us is she would come into bed around 1 in the morning from her little toddler bed in her room, and she would get into bed with us and ask for milk. And I wore a tight tank top and a big one of my husband's shirts over so that she did not have access. And we just told her no. We offered her a bottle of regular milk with a little bit of maple syrup in it to make it more enticing. And she did not want it the first couple nights. She cried for 3 or 4 hours, but she was always being comforted. We would hold her, we would rock her, we would walk her around. And by the 3rd night, she wasn't asking anymore and she just came into bed and fell asleep. And that is how we night weaned. I really have not heard anyone else have a different story than that. But at that age, she's not alone. She's not crying it out in her room. She's old enough to understand, "No, we're not having milk right now." And she would say, "Okay." And she would understand that when the sun came up, she could have milk first thing in the morning. Throughout this process, my husband was so great helping out. He would be the one to go and get the bottle when she first came into bed out of the refrigerator. He would put it away in the morning when he left for work. And he would cuddle her and scratch her back and tell her stories and find new ways to soothe her instead of having milk. And so by about the 2.5-month point of our 3-month weaning journey, she was fully weaned at night, and she just wakes up once around 3 or 4 and comes into bed with us and then sleeps until morning. And that's really working for our family right now. The final hurdle that we had to jump in weaning her was she would nurse first thing in the morning and then right before bed. So we cut off the morning nursing session by just getting out of bed right away. We didn't linger. We would just go downstairs, start breakfast, and that worked really well for us. But the nighttime one was really hard to drop. She would nurse for sometimes 40 minutes before bed, and we had to build an entirely new routine. And then the time changed, and it just kind of felt like everything got messed up. So it has not been seamless and it hasn't been easy, but she is included in the big kids' bedtime routine now. We come upstairs, we brush our teeth, each kid gets to pick a story, so we read 3 stories, and then we turn off the lights and everyone gets basically a minute or two, 1 to 5 minutes with mom and dad. So my husband and I rotate and we just trade off kids because they're all in one room. My oldest son likes usually a story or a garden, which is a specific back scratch that we do. And then my 4-year-old also wants a back scratch, and Mel usually wants a princess story told to her and to have her belly scratched. And so we just rotate through and then we say goodnight. And she does get a little milk bottle right now because she's still falling asleep. But when we told her that we were going to be all done with nighttime milk, my husband and I took her on a date, just her, and we let her pick out a little new animal and a new pillow for her bed and a new bottle to have her milk in. And we celebrated her being in a big bed and we talked it up, and she now knows where her big bed is and she's excited to get in it. And of course she's 2. Sometimes she still doesn't want to go to sleep when it's sleeping time, but it has worked really well for us and I'm really glad that we did it. I will say the biggest mistake I made was not replacing nursing with a different type of connection. Once she was fully weaned, we had about a week or 2 where it just felt like her emotions were always really heightened and she was having more tantrums, and it was really hard on our family. And I felt like I was at the emotional breaking point of just being overstimulated. And then it dawned on me that I never replaced the connected nursing time with a different way to connect. And I really regret that. I think looking back, what I would have liked to do is, if there were a few times during the day that we nursed, during those times, I would, scoop her up from playing on the ground with her siblings and take her to the couch and sing songs with her, or do like a tickling game or the little pig game on her toes, or scratch her back or read her a story, and just replace that nursing connection with something new and a new routine, because she doesn't know how to regulate herself. She doesn't know when she needs me. She would just want milk, and that was a way to come to me, and we would have skin-to-skin contact and we would talk to each other and be together, and my focus was 100% on her. And once she stopped nursing, I just, kind of went about my life and went about my day and didn't set aside specific time to connect with her. And I really think that's what made her so dysregulated and really caused her to start acting out. Once I realized that, I remedied it, and we have been doing little songs during the day and this little tickle game that we do on her belly, and she's doing a lot better. And I think the advice I would give to any mom trying to nurse an older child would be to know that nursing is not just for nutrition. At that age, it's for connection. And your kid might not know that they need to connect with you, and they might not know to ask how. So it's up to you to create a new atmosphere that replaces nursing, where you can connect with your toddler. That was probably nothing incredibly groundbreaking or interesting, but I had so many people ask me questions and it was hard to give one-on-one advice. So I thought I would just make this short video to just address our journey of weaning our 2-year-old. And hopefully you will find this insightful and helpful. And cheers to you for nursing longer than the national average. It is not easy to do. And everyone has their reasons for nursing past 6 months. And I personally applaud any mom who continues to nurse past that time. It is a lot on the body and sometimes a lot on your mental health, but it is so good for baby. So cheers to you. If you have any more questions about weaning or nursing, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to answer them. And that is all for me today. Thank you for watching. Bye.